Hey guys, welcome back to the Jonas Workshop. On this particular video, I just want to welcome you because today we're going to be taking a little bit of time to go over things that are not my traditional channel, if you will, direction. But hopefully my subscribers and my family and my community will give me some allowance to do something like this. If you're here, it's probably because one, you're curious about what I'm making, or you're curious about another YouTuber and what they're making, or you are a small content creator yourself and you're consuming this because it's important to see small channels. Guys, I'm a small channel. I think at the time of filming, I think I'm right around 2,175. Don't hold me to that, but that's a close spot to where I'm actually at. And so here's the reality. You're probably wondering, it's important. Like, I don't know. I watch Think Media. I watch vidIQ, and please understand, I love those guys. And I think they do a phenomenal job, but they're also 1 million+ subscribers. Their pockets, their resources, how they do things are just different. So there's some value in this idea that what are small creators that are having some mild success doing? Perhaps you're with a YouTube channel that is only getting like 4 to 5 views per video, or you're just really feeling the idea of burnout or some of those things, or you're just getting started. Guys, I'm going to be covering some stuff in this video that I truly believe is going to help you significantly on your adventure and your journey. So I want to encourage you just to be open-minded as we're going over these things. Truly believe is going to help you significantly on your adventure and your journey.
Authentic subscribers only. Don't subscribe unless you're into my usual stuff.
This is all wet nonetheless. Hey guys, I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about my journey. Now, this is going to be a different video than my traditional video. Obviously, I'm in the wood shop. I'm doing a lot of different things on the airsoft field, different projects that are related to woodworking. So hopefully you guys can give me the allowance to talk through something like this. I realize the sound may be challenging, but I'm really trying to keep this an organic style video. So I want to just start off by saying, guys, one, it took me roughly 11 months to get monetized. And I would say that when I did all my research, it takes roughly about 22 months on average for a channel to get monetized if they're going to get monetized. Now, let me preface it by saying this. I've heard some studies, and again, I think we'll all be able to find a variety of different topics on this, but the one that I'll maybe reference is through Think Media. They had said that did you know that of all the YouTube channels, absolutely all of them, only 3%-ish, I've heard all the way up to 10%, irregardless, fill in the blank, doesn't matter. That is such a small amount of channels actually ever get monetized. So my brother, Pastor Steve Larson, who has his own YouTube channel, he always reminds me, hey, you're one of the 3%ers in the world. And I'm like, wow, that sounds great. But does it equate to living large? And I think you're going to find that the distance between living large and being monetized is quite different and quite vast. I've heard stories of people that are like, getting millions of views and are still living paycheck to paycheck, right? So there's definitely some strategy that I want to talk through. Now, one of the things, guys, that I wanna maybe start off with is earlier I had mentioned that I did something that shot myself in the foot, or at least I perceive it to be, right? As you get started on a YouTube channel, you start to think anything you can do. You're fixated with the idea and the concept of subscribers. I'll be honest, and I was as well. I wouldn't say fixated, but I was motivated by it. As anything, you're starting something new. Guess what? You want it to be successful. You want it to grow. So I will never say that that's a shameful thing, but at the same token, it's maybe misplaced priorities, right? And I would say that in the beginning, right, there is this hurdle. And it's like, I'm running a race, and the first hurdle is, guess what? Is getting monetized. Now, what does it actually take to get monetized? It takes you having 1,000 subscribers, right? And in my research, I found that most of the times it's easiest to get the subscribers. What becomes a very distant, hard to get second is usually watch time, right? So you need 4,000 watch hours. Now, if you've been playing this game, I know people that have 10,000 plus subscribers and don't have 4,000 watch hours. Now, keep in mind, you have to get 4,000 watch hours or 1,000 subscribers within a 365-day year. Meaning, if it goes 366, and I have under 4,000, that's the formula for demonetization. Again, it's a rolling 365, meaning I don't go like January to January and now it's December, right? It just keeps moving forward from my understanding, right? If I'm wrong, then by all means, someone who's watching this, feel free to critique me. And on the idea of critiquing, guys, understand this: as you grow, you're going to get a wider variety of individuals that will feel the need to kind of troll you or basement advise you. And I've had multiple comments. I shouldn't say that. I would say now that I've been doing it for as long as I have been, I think I roughly been doing it anywhere between a year and a half to 2 years that I've been doing this. And I've had probably about 5 what I would call blatantly negative comments. Now, some are just saying a variety of different things, but irregardless, you know, as you grow, you're going to open yourself up to a wider net of people who aren't necessarily your friends. And so the reality is that you have to be aware that those things are going to be coming. All right, let's leave that alone because I think that's just normal. And for me, I love it. Why? Because negative engagement is still engagement and the algorithm loves engagement. Therefore, I've tried to use tactics such as spelling things wrong on purpose. Why? Because I wanted to see how many people would actually correct me. I've heard that's a technique that people have used in the past. I don't like to use it. It just feels, if it's going to be a mistake, I want it to be an organic or an honest mistake. But really not many people had corrected or said, oh, you spelled this wrong. Now, maybe that's just that there's not a lot of people watching my content yet or whatnot, right? I kind of vacillate. You know, and here's the other thing that I want to share with you guys. You know, when you look at YouTube, why is it that in the last 5 years, a significant amount of individuals are quitting doing YouTube? I believe that there's a variety of reasons. Some could be, you know, I'm going to guess like the outdoor boys. At what point is enough, right? You got to identify where you're going. Unless you do, you'll never know when you get there, right? So from the beginning, identify what is it you're aiming for, right? And a lot of people say, I just want more. And I'm like, and I don't like to use this phrase lightly, but you're an idiot because there's always going to be more. You will always be on this perpetual treadmill. So one of my advice things to you is, where are you heading? What is your goal? Why? Because that when you get there, you can give yourself permission to establish a new goal and move forward, or you can give yourself permission to calm and back off, which is what I believe the Outdoor Boys or some of these channels are doing. Now, here's the other thing that I am viciously aware of is this concept of burnout. I am being riddled by the thought process right now of what am I doing and what am I all about, right? So this reality of like, who is Jenna's Workshop? Who is Joshua Larson, right? If I am led by the algorithm, I guarantee you I'll follow a path that leads down something that might get views but won't fill my heart. And I just will not have that. Now, I'd rather follow my heart and have less views, and I think a lot of people say that. But where the rubber meets the road is I am currently at a spot where I realize that, one, I think AI is going to be replacing content providers. It can do it already. You already are seeing it. So the reality is in my heart, in my mind, I'm starting to wonder like, hey, what is the one thing, at least at this point, that they maybe can't do? And that is personality. And I should be careful there because you see AI avatars that absolutely have personality. But I do think that right now, the biggest thing that separates me from an AI bot making content is going to end up being personality. And I don't want to assume that you're even interested in my life. But I'd like to think that as we provide a little bit more vulnerability on our videos, that does naturally occur and that does naturally happen. I'm just going to be putting out a video on Thursday. So that will, when this video comes out, it'll probably go back a few weeks. But I'm trying to tell a little bit more of a story, right? I think in the beginning, man, this is exceedingly uncomfortable on my back right now. Oh, I'm getting so wet. This is awesome. Can you guys see that? That's what I have to put up with. A fountain. How amazing. All right. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. I was once here on a date way back when I was younger, and I was with this gal, and that thing was partially filled. And I remember, you know, obviously you're in the I'm trying to impress you phase. And I was walking down the concrete, and there's a little part that was slick like this chair, and I slipped and fell and landed in the pond. Some might think that that's a negative thing. But it just added one more thing to do. Then we went to laundromat. We found someone's name on the board and we made some calls. It was actually a good time. Anyway, side note, done. Officially over. Guys, when it comes to YouTube, I would also say something else that I felt like I wish that I wouldn't have done. But again, I just did. I love this phrase. You hear me using it once in a while. You don't know what you don't know. And at this time, I just didn't know. But I want to share with you. I want to encourage you, those that are opening up a channel, do not ask people to be your subscribers unless you know that they're an absolute fit. I think at the beginning, I asked everyone and their uncle to be subscribers. I had friends that were like, hey, my friend is starting a channel. And although it made me feel amazing and wonderful because they were supporting my cause, I actually feel that it absolutely serves against my channel. Now, what do I mean by that? So I'm asking them to subscribe. Now, what happens when I put out a video? Let's say it goes to someone who meant well in the moment, but never will watch my content. YouTube, or what we refer to as the algorithm, the AI that is known as YouTube, they push my content to that person. And guess what? They don't watch it. So YouTube is already making a judgment call that your video is not as good as you might think it is, sir. Why? Because even your own subscribers are not watching it. So the likelihood of it pushing to others becomes less. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to push it to others. I'm just telling you that there's a high probability that it's not going to be pushed as deep or wide as it would be as if you were to just grow organically. Now, here's the vice versa on that. For me, I know that my growth potentially would have been slower, right? It would have been slower if I had done it the organic approach, right? Tell no one, maybe other than your family or a few key people, right? Let it grow organically. Yes, it would have grown slower, but I believe that would have grown much wider and stronger, right? So my root system wouldn't have been like, like the redwoods, which is shallow and wide, and it relies on other trees to link in to kind of hold it for its strength. It would have been like an oak tree root system, deep, wide, vast, so that, you know what I mean? I believe that there's a difference between growing a community. I believe in growing an audience. Interestingly enough, you hear all these content creators that say, like, comment, subscribe. Why do we do that? Let's go over that super quick. Why? Because it's engagement. I think there's a dopamine hit for a lot of people when they get like, a comment. But for me, I've been building the Band of Brothers, which is a community-based event where I stand on this one truth. They say that the average parent spends about 45 seconds of quality time with their kids per day. And I built this community based on the fact that I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be that dad. I wanted to be the dad that actually has quality. And I mean quality time. Like, I mean this. Like, hey, how you doing, son? What was this experience like? Right? I wanted that more. And I want that with Airsoft. I want that with my YouTube community. And you might be thinking you're not interested. And that's okay. You don't have to be, because there are a few of you who are. So I want you guys to fully understand that when I leave a comment, when I respond to your comments, it is me. Now, here's the advantage I have. I'm small. So therefore, I have the luxury of reading every single person's response, and it's meaningful to me. You'll notice in a lot of my questions, I'm actually asking questions back to you. Why? Because I care. Now, some of you might say, no, you're asking a question back because it furthers your engagement. And that is true too. But it's not the entire truth. For me, it's both wrapped into one. I'm probably mostly governed by community. If you look at the pillars of who you probably are, what are you trying to build when it looks at your channel? Are you truly trying to build community, but yet at the same token, you're not reaching out when people respond? Are you getting at it 3 months later, right? This doesn't point to the fact that you really truly want to do kind of community. You know what I'm saying? So from that perspective, guys, I want to encourage you that your channel is going to be a slow growth, right? Some of you already know that I'm a physical therapist by trade, and I equivocate the idea of doing a YouTube channel to this. You're not going to make money usually, right? If you look at the outliers for some period of time, if you look at most of them, really making any significant money is going to take you a couple of months or a couple of years, right? And it's like school. I've told you guys before that I'm a physical therapist. So I had to pay a significant amount of money and go to school for 6.5 years after high school. And I didn't make a lot of money right away. And I think that's the way I'm talking myself into it. Now, I certainly don't want to try to cast this illusion that you have to wait 6.5 years. That's not my point. But my point is, I remember talking to someone at work. Her name is Jen. And I remember we were talking and she asked a question about making money. And when I shared how much I make, which I'm going to share with you really soon, I remember her saying, "That's it?" Like absolute disappointment. And I remember telling myself, oh man, that kind of hurt a little bit. But it caused me to kind of probe this idea of like, yeah, I get it. To most people, when you look at how much time I spend, why on earth would I be doing that? And I would tell you that in 2025 and 2024, what was the number one business startup? It was a YouTube channel. And most people's businesses aren't extremely profitable right away. So I think it's important for you to massage in the fact that you're not going to be making a lot of money right away, but this is an investment. But here's what I would tell you. I've shared with you that I am a physical therapist, so oftentimes they have a range, right, at which they're going to make, meaning you traditionally, for 95% of the jobs or more, are going to be making between this much and that much, right? And it's somewhat capped off. However, when it comes to YouTube, yes, it takes a while to get there. I don't think it's going to take me 6.5 years to get there, guys. When you look at my growth that I'm having, it's been awesome. And I thank you so much for those of you that are truly not just subscribers, but community members. But it's one of those things where once you get there, I believe the ability to scale this business is much greater than that as a physical therapist. Fill in the blank for you. Whether you're working in a dental office or you're a realtor or whatnot, not only is this just a great adjunct business to have, but it's a great way for you to just supplement and then eventually take over that. Now, I will say this, that a tremendous amount of people experience what's called the imposter syndrome, meaning when you get in front of a camera, do you freeze up? Do you perpetually have to craft your art and you've been doing it for 2 years before you actually start your channel? Right? There's a lot of different things that go into it. I will tell you just real briefly, I experience what's called perfectionist paralysis or paralysis, perfectionism, whatever, fill in the blank, that phrase. I wanted to be flawless before I started. And eventually I just needed to get to a point where I started. Now, let me share the one point why I think that's valid for most of you if you are thinking about starting a channel. One, there is no growth that's like the growth that occurs once you start. It is unreal. I really felt like I was like honing in my process. But when I compare that, which was, let's say, a slow grade up, was I making progress? You bet. And I felt like I was making huge amounts of progress. Once I started my channel, my growth became exponential. And let me clarify, I'm not saying growth in subscribers or watch them. I'm talking about personal growth in understanding this thing known as YouTube, right? This adventure. So if you want to exponentially increase your growth, start a channel. I promise you. The other thing that I will tell you though, real quickly, I believe it's essential for you to have about 3 to 5 videos before you put something out. Now, don't upload them all at the same time because then they're competing against each other. I would give yourself every day for a week. I would just upload 5, right? And then, now, why is that important? Because if I watch a video from you and I'm like, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden I go to your page and you have no other videos, the likelihood of me subscribing is pretty small. Now, if I go there and you at least have 3 other videos that I watch and 2 or 3 out of the 5 are ones that I really connect with, guess what? I'm probably going to subscribe. So consider that fact when you guys are thinking about starting your channel. That's amazing. That's important. Now, one of the things that I think you guys are here for is to understand how much I made. So let me back up. One, I got monetized in 11 months. Keep in mind, I do think that the average, according to what I was told through the Think Media video, again, it could have changed by now. So guys, please understand, this is just a loose fitting, is 22 months. So I feel good about the fact that I did it in half the amount of time. Right now, you could say, here's one other thing that I was really thought worked out well for me. I had 2 videos. Now, I am a DIY maker / creator / woodworker who, one of the heavy hitting videos is a shop tour. So I had 2 videos that I put out about a similar time frame that was right when I was about to be monetized. Now, you might say, well, why did you just do that in the beginning? Then your growth would have been sooner, and then your overall watch time would have been more. Okay, that's a valid thought. What I did is I got all these videos under my belt because when I got to my shop tour, I really wanted to make sure that I did it well. Now, I'm not convinced that I did, but it is what it is for the first time that I'm out doing it, right? Once I hit, I think it was November of 2024. Yeah, November of 2024. I was right about to hit my needs, right? I already had 1,000 subscribers, meaning I just had arrived, and I, interestingly enough, was about to hit my 4,000 watch hours. So I hit them pretty close to each other. With that being said, I had a really popular video on tote towers that I built as an indwelling, and you guys could go back and watch that. That was one of my better performing ones, but that had a timeline. And what I mean by that is it performed really good, really good. Like, I mean, like, wow. And then all of a sudden it got about a month later, it just dropped off. And I don't mean dropped off like it's dead. It's still getting views, but nothing like its initial performance, its initial sustained performance. Now, with that in mind, I knew that if I did my shop tour right away, it might help me get there, but then it wouldn't help me from a monetization perspective, so to speak. Yes, it helped me, but not quite like what this plan was. And here's what the plan was. When I get to where I'm almost there, then I release these 2 videos, and my shop tour, boom, had a big performance. So then not only did it push me over the line, but then the amount of money I first got was increased. Now, I will tell you that my first paycheck was just over, I think it was $154 from AdSense. Now, that did not include my YouTube AdSense. I want to be clear. Or excuse, not my YouTube AdSense. My AdSense. Sorry, I'm starting to rain too. But my Amazon. I was an Amazon affiliate. That's totally different. I had gotten a paycheck from that before. That's a different story. But when it comes to YouTube AdSense, it would been 154. Now, fast forward 6 months now. I want to share that with you as well. I'm now at a point where my last paycheck from YouTube AdSense was $254. And I just got that roughly $2 2 weeks before making this video. And that's something that I'm very proud of. And, you know, for me, I'm like, hey, 3% of all channels get it. I'm hoping that you get to be a part of that 3%. But some out-taking advice. One, it takes a plan. It really does. I believe that for this to be a sustainable business, and let's be honest, when you look at starting a YouTube channel, it is a business. There's got to be a plan, right? What are you? Are you a gamer? How are you going to make money? I think gaming, I believe, has one of the lower, the lower revenue RPMs that's out there, right? So you got to think through how are you going to make that other than just going by sheer views, right? If you're a woodworking channel, are you going to be selling digital plans? How do you do that, et cetera, et cetera? In fact, I'm right now at this point where I'm going to be making my own plans for my cabinet, and I'm researching, like, where do I find that? Where can I work with someone to do that? And I know that I could develop the time to do it myself, but that's one of those things that I'm going to offload to someone else and then work in conjunction with that. Now, if you were to ask, Joshua, moving forward, what are some of your plans right now? I'm really weighing in the idea of trying to do searchable style topics. There's videos I do that I believe are really excellent, but they're just not a searchable topic. Therefore, they don't get a tremendous amount of views, but yet they still meet me where I'm at from a heart's perspective. So I'm still going to do them. You know, I'm not just going to be governed by the algorithm, but at the same token, I am going to start following those a little bit more. I do enjoy making them. But at the same token, they're maybe not 100% passionate regarding that. So, guys, when you look at starting a channel, if that's you, or if you're just curious at how much I made, I'd be curious to know a couple things. One, when you started watching this video, if you're that individual that has never really thought about starting a channel, what was your expectation in your head? What did you think I was going to say? What did you have in your mind? Meaning you probably had a prejudgment called like, oh, this is what I think most YouTubers make. Because I find I also have some businesses that I've started in aside from YouTube. And I've noticed that every time you tell or someone finds out that you own a business, what do they think? You're automatically rolling in the dough, living in a place like this that I showed you at the beginning. What did you think? Two, Would you stick around if you had a job where you barely made anything for a few years, but yet you know that the payoff in the other end could not just be there, but substantially be there? It's a great thought process. So, guys, I am going to be starting a series. I'm going to be doing and tracking this. And I want to be a little bit selfish about this. Part of this is for me. I want to be able to go back and watch this. And I want to be able to see the progress. Why do we have these hype charts on our door frames in the Midwest to show, oh, today you were this and next year you were this? Because it just shows growth. It shows improvement. No different than being in the gym and seeing extra muscle fiber twitch. You're like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Right? I want to track that progress and I want to be able to see it. But my hope is that for someone like you, you can also watch along and kind of use it as a motivator for you as you're looking at starting your channel. So guys, hey, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to head out to the lake house today, hopefully do some fishing at Megalodon Bay. And don't forget to invest in yourself. Shoot dang. Have a great day.